Yeah, excuse me. These fries from DQ, they hitting right amount of it's the right amount of salt with just the amount of crunch. You know what I'm saying? But not all that. I know exactly where we left off at. Back on the first page of this notebook, part two. Told you it was coming back. Said that. Now we here again. What we got here? Okay. This looks like okay. Hmm. Interesting. Okay. So here we have a point in the middle of these four different things. This is more of a sketch. In the middle here, there's a sketch of makeup of me. All right. So I can see where this point is. It has a little side note that says success point of connection. So when I guess I probably feel like I've succeeded to where I want to be and need to be in all four of these sectors, then I've reached the success level of connection. Entry level complete, whatever. But yeah, this is what it is. Okay, so let's go over these four sections a little quick. Okay, what does it say? Audio visual. This little guy, a little here. I'm guessing it's me. My headphones on. Got a little, I don't know what that is on the side here. It's probably just some random design. We got the music notes. But, oh, that's what that is. I don't know if you can see, but this here is like the film roll for like filming. I get it now. But all in all, yeah, audio visual. That's a good part of me. As you can see, it's a fourth of me. But I'm a music producer. Y'all probably don't know that, but I am a music producer. I've produced for many artists as such as me, myself, and I. I don't really make music for a lot of people, really just the homies and some randos around the U.S. But very, very talented randoms. I don't know. I just figured over the past years, because I started like what, 2007 producing music. Um, I just always felt like it was like a hobby that could make me money, but my thing was probably more so into doing as much beats as I can to have like a large catalog. Because I used to listen to beats all the time, so it was either like Jay Dilla or Ninth Wonder. That was it. But just listening to so much of their beats, I was like, man, they have like a lifetime of beats, like music I still haven't heard of today. Um, but so many beats. I know Jay Dilla had a whole bunch of like beat tapes, but all in all, I just felt like because I'm so connected with music, I wanted to do music, producing for like so many years as a kid, but didn't start until like 2007. But I just felt like it'd be always dope to have like a large body of music. So I have that now, but I still don't feel like it's even touching the amount of music I've heard over time from different producers other than those two. Pharrell for sure, Kanye, like Drake, a whole bunch of different producers. But I know I always want to like take my time to develop my own sound in the way that I like to do things. I sample a lot. Sometimes it's more so of like the '90s appeal, '80s, '70s. Lately, I've been trying to work on like a whole new sound. I call it like suburban trap, where I take these '90s soft rock songs and just mix that shit up and throw my own kind of like feel and beats and rhythms into that whole like. I'm already imagining like what does Maroon 5 plus Afro beats, what does that fusion sound like? You know what I mean? That's the shit I be on. So, um, yeah, suburban trap. I put a stamp on it. That's me. Um, but visually, I've always had different ideas for movies to be a creative director behind. I always admired John Singleton and Spike Lee for their works. Growing up as a kid, I was just looking at their movies, looking at them as like black filmmakers, and I'm like, okay, especially Robert Townsend too, because uh, Hollywood Shuffle was like fucking perfect, bro. Like timeless. That's the perfect timeless movie. If y'all haven't seen Hollywood Shuffle, go see that shit because that's like the perfectly timeless film I've ever seen. Ever seen. Make sure I get the rest of these hoes in. I'm down from the bottom, so ain't too much, man. But that was fucking fire. Um, and it's crazy because I'm in Georgia right now eating DQ. And I normally hear the commercials like DQ, that's what I like about Texas. Haven't heard that fucking commercial down here. But if I did, it would be very, very odd as a Texan to hear DQ, that's what I like about Georgia. I would feel like we've been run amok. You know what I mean? I feel like we've been traded. Georgia don't pull that shit. It's Texas. I thought DQ was only in Texas, but apparently not. Um, but these fries, man, I'm fucking telling you. But visually, um, I've had like different films in my head. I think I would like to do biopics. I like to do the biopic for Kanye West. I like to do the biopic for Jay Dilla. Two awesome people. I would feel like their documentaries, or not documentaries, their biopics would be like groundbreaking and like the stories told, like not only producer wise but life wise. You got somebody over here that's producer wise going through like sickness, like direct health wise. Um, then you got somebody dealing with um, different kind of sickness like mental illness or whatever you want to call it, just loss of like family, different things like that. But two different talented producers. That would just be like, so like fucking awesome if I could just be on the staff of making the biopic. That would be an Oscar to myself. I don't really need an Oscar. I just need to accomplish the Oscar type shit, if that makes sense. If I accomplish something, I've gotten the ultimate award that anyone could give me, but nobody can give me a better award than something I know I can give myself that I've worked hard for, which would be like something like that film. But yeah, those are like two film projects I always wanted to do. Um, I've only like got into like filming when it comes to like personal projects, whether it be like on my phone or something, or um, if I have like another camera around, different cameras. It was a point in time where I was like, I'm just gonna shoot a fire ass like SPCA commercial or something. I don't know. It was an idea I had, but that was like, but I'm flipping on them. I'm gonna end up having like a commercial that's like nothing but fucking roadkill. The whole commercial is like real fucking clean ass footage of roadkill. Like you can see the HD of the flies flying on that shit. Like that's what I started to film. Like I would carry my camera everywhere, but I would always be like driving back and forth from like Houston to Dallas or whatever. So it was guaranteed that you was gonna see like a deer, raccoon, armadillo, armadillo, or a dog or something. Something ran over it, and you might see like something crawling out there. Either way it goes, it will be something very very graphic for me to catch footage of, like a compilation of, to make that fire ass commercial. So I just started I remember that was like 2015. Um, but yeah, it was some weird shit. But I did get a chance to film some music videos, really some promos here and there, kind of getting my feet wet. But then I don't know, I just fucking stopped because I ended up creating some other shit, and then some other shit, and some other shit. But I feel like being a filmmaker takes skill, of course, but ultimately, ultimately it takes a vision. So as long as I have a vision for something, I know I necessarily don't have to create the film. I can work with other people who are very, very skilled at um, filming itself, editing, processing, lighting, all the different things like film crew type shit. I'm connected with people who do that. So ultimately, at the end of the day, I'm trying to get myself to this point. Where is it? Where is it at? Ultimately, trying to get to my point of success, point of connection, where I fucking end up Thanos into myself and being the best ultimate version of me that I could be. And every day is a process of that. I don't think there's a day that I will live that I'm not working towards that. Something I might achieve, something I might not achieve, but I know I'm gonna make it happen or die trying. So, note to self on that. All right. Second idea here, we got books and games. Books and games. I've done both. I've never thought that I would be an author, but I wrote my son a book. Um, it's called Dear Basquiat, a letter to my black son. It's on my website at dopeartdealers.co. It's also on Amazon if you prefer to buy it there too. But um, yeah, man, I wrote that fucking book out of fear. Honestly, I wrote my book out of fear because I just did not know if I was gonna see my son again. I wrote it on a ship. I was working in Alaska, going back and forth from Sitka to Juneau every other week, and it was my first time on the boat. It was a whole bunch of white folks. It was very like I'm supposed to be here, but I'm not supposed to be here. And like my ancestors are mad that I took this trip for the money, because it was very like deja vu-ish. And plus, my check was coming late, so I was like, y'all either gonna pay me or I'm about to jump this fucking ship because this ain't no free labor ride. But um, yeah, I was out there, I was working, and it was like when my son was like 10 months when I left, and of course I'm going out there for you know making money for the family. At the same time, I'm away from family that I'm taking care of. So I was like, man, what if something happens to me while I'm out here? And the only people that would tell my story of who I wasn't me. And what better person to hear from me about me than myself? So I was like, well, let me write my son like a letter in the form of a book. Let me tell him how and why I am the way that I am as a person, a man, as a father, as a son as well. Um, as many different facets, but it's like many different chapters that I touch on, like farts, love, death, failures, successes, all of these different things. And I just feel like he would enjoy the read when he gets older, but I feel like it's also fitting for other people to read as well, to really just get the perspective of who I am as a person. But at the end of the day, um, relate to the book in the way that they need to relate to it to be a better version of whatever that person they connect with. It could be the brother side of me, it could be the father side of me, it could be the friend side of me, it could be the student side of me, it could be any side of me that they relate to, just being a better version of that for themselves. Um, but recognizing that hey, the world isn't perfect, but um, you do have like a choice with different things, and certain things might not go your way, and that's okay because that's a process of life, you know. But yeah, that's my book. Um, I've also created a card game that was kind of crazy. It's called Stereotypes. I'm not .com, but that was the website for it. I don't have the website for it. Everything's now sold on my art website. Me and my wife's art website. Um, but I started the card game in like 2011. Very, very basic um, version of the game. But I remember it really only took me like less than 5 minutes to make the game. But I knew it was like 3:23 that day. 3:23 p.m. Maybe a Thursday or something. Sound I probably was a Thursday. Um, but I know I was in my homegirl's dorm room. I had 7 minutes to get to class, and I did not want to go to architecture that day. Um, I just wasn't feeling it. But I told myself, if I'm not gonna go to class, whatever I do in this moment is gonna have to make me millions of dollars. So let's make the use of this time. Let's think. If we're not gonna go to class, let's sit here and think, what can we do different? That was also a key thing. What can we do different and new um, that isn't commonly done, but something that we can make money of? And I had to think about it. I was like, a whole fluster of ideas kind of came at me fast, but these are the things that made me think about it. All right. So for one, um, I had history class. Dr. Jones, shout out Dr. Jones, PV. Um, I had a Dr. Jones. He would always teach us about like African American history, culture, and different things like that. And I remember him telling me about like C.E. Patterson, how we made cars like the same time around like Henry Ford, but we weren't getting recognized for that. And for some odd reason, it just made me upset that day that I learned that, and it took college for me to learn it. As if like I didn't go to a HBCU, I might not have fucking known just that fact. Two, I went through so many years, what I thought was a long time. Really, it's like what 20 years of not knowing that. Hey, we invented cars as well. Like the innovation behind it is inspiring in ways that some people might not ever really relate to. But it's inspiring for me that hey, I know people of color that can create in these different facets, and there's honestly no limit in what we can do. That was just a prime example of how much knowledge I wasn't given over my time frame of life. And I remember calling my mom and firing her ass up for that. I don't know what game. My mom was sweet, but it made me like upset and almost want to cry for some odd reason. Like, yo, how come you ain't tell me we invented the car? You know what I mean? Like invented the car, and she was like, "What?" I said, "How come you ain't tell me that we had a black inventor that actually made cars?" And she was like, "Well, I didn't know." And that was like right when I knew I can't fault this woman for something that she didn't know. I know how that feels. You know what I mean? If I don't know something, I don't know something. How is it my fault or anything? But I can't fault my mom for not teaching me something that she didn't know herself. Now it's 20 something years later for myself knowing this, but it's like 50 years something later for her knowing um, that, hey, we invented cars as well. I taught my mom black history. on that phone call, and I was like, damn, we are deep in like ignorance generationally of what we can do. And I was like, all right, what do I do with like my family most of the time? And I don't really like go around my family a lot all the time because I'm very introvert to the key. Like I'm in a hotel right now by myself. I'm very much an introvert. Um, but I was like, when I'm around family, we do play cards. We normally play Phase 10. Phase 10 is a dope ass game that we play a lot most of the time that we come around. And it's just one of them type of things that's what our family does. Our family doesn't do a lot of things together, but that's what one of the things that we do. If we ain't eating together, we um, playing Phase 10. So because we played Phase 10, I was like, well, let me look and see who created that game. And it was created by Ken Johnson, if I'm not mistaken. Ken Johnson, um, he made the Phase 10 game and actually sold the game to Mattel. And I was like, the game that we enjoy as my family is made by a black person. Like, yo, we can make card games. And I was like, yo, I can make a card game. But what would I make a card game? Uh, hmm, I did come out of history class. Um, hmm, you have a lot of different cultures around. Cultures have characteristics. Sometimes it's true, sometimes it's not, but sometimes that's what makes people racist. Sometimes that's what makes people prejudiced. Or no, that's what actually makes everybody prejudiced because some people are racist, but everybody's prejudiced because we think something of somebody before we even really know. So it's really not a bad idea. I was like, what is that? That's very stereotypical. And I was like, I should probably make a game on the prejudice of people psychologically and take out the idea of guilt because the game won't really work like that. Have it fun. What makes a game fun? Guessing game. Okay, so okay, that's an idea. Um, okay, I can make a guessing card game on stereotypes of people. That's honestly how I kind of made up the game. Uh, yeah, hold on, my bad. I got a text. Give me 10 seconds. See. Okay, my bad one. I'm talking about the gas. All right, all right, all right, all right. Yeah, so that's honestly how I came up with the game. Um, uh, Tested it out in that dorm room that night. That night, I made it. Again, I made it on index cards. I didn't even get to that part. I made the fucking first version of the game on index cards. If I could find an old picture, I might upload that hoe later, but fuck all that shit. This is gonna be raw footage. But I made the hoe with index cards and a Sharpie. I remember I was in that dorm room. Remember, I was in that dorm room and I left. Went to Dollar General in Hempstead, Texas. Got me index cards and a Sharpie. Spent less than $5. Went back to my homegirl's dorm room, sitting on her couch. I'm writing, I'm writing, I'm writing, I'm writing, I'm writing. Um, Black men say, white women say, black women say, African women do, Chinese people do. Like, shit very, very basic. Nothing to the idea of what the card is like today. I actually got a deck right now. You can see, what does it say? List 4 white girl names. You could probably off top come with 4 different white girls' names, but I bet you, one of them names is probably Brittany, if not Ashley or Jennifer, Tiffany. I don't know. You probably guessed them. Probably didn't. I don't know. Let's see. What other card I have here? What does that say? Name 4 food brands in black households. I don't know. You might have fucking went with uh, Agent Mama or something, or you might have went left and went with like Great Value or something. I don't know. I don't know. You might have named one. You might have not. I don't know. You might have named something else. Louisiana hot sauce. I don't know. But that's how I ended up developing the game from its basic point to like very, very particular things that different cultures do, say, experience. These different things that we see on a daily basis, we hear on a daily basis, whether it be our experience or other people's experience. I just made the element of the idea of what people think about other people, or what people might think about other people, or what people don't think about other people, and added all of that into the whole experience of the game. That's how I made stereotypes. So, yeah, later I'll make a whole another video about like how to start your own card game, how to distribute all that. But for now, that's really just how I came up with the idea of the game. But I'll go in depth of that later. Back to part 3 of 4, art and design. All right. So back to what I was saying earlier, I went to college, got my bachelor's in architecture for, of course, architecture. I love like designing houses. Um, it took me a little while as I got older to realize like why I was designing houses in like high school. It wasn't because I was like, oh, I'm gonna be a world renowned architect or anything. So that's what I'm gonna go to college for. Like, no, I did not know what I was going to college for before I went to college. I was just in my house during my high school years to myself most of the time playing GoldenEye 007, shooting people on the game. Other than shooting people at school, I was just always just to myself and just chill, play, listen to the music all day, every day. If I ain't like watching TV or anything like that, but in my free time of not doing those things, I would be drawing. I'll be drawing a lot. I remember I got in trouble for drawing in class, and that was like 10th grade. Mr. McClatcher's class. I was drawing, I believe, Leonardo cutting the head off of a priest. He was like in a pause motion like this. You saw the little fucking sword marks in the sky, priest's head coming off. Like I was very like anti-church when I was a child, and I grew up a preacher's kid, of course. Go figure, right? But uh, I just remember getting in trouble that day, and the teacher took my folder and just tossed that shit across the fucking room, and you see like paper floating in the fucking sky, falling down. And I'm like, yo, I know this nigga did not just like though. He wasn't even a nigga. He was an old white dude, which made it even worse. Called him a nigga. He wasn't even a nigga. It was just nigga moments. And I was like, I know this nigga did not just throw my shit across the fucking room and expect me not to do nothing. So I look back at my homeboy Daniel. He was like, no, don't do it. And I was like, I'm gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? I let that shit go by like 2 minutes. I got up, took the fucking trash can, dumped all that shit, tossed it, and just chunked dudes. I fucking left the class. Um, that was one of my crazy moments that I had in high school that to this day my parents still don't know. It was very fucking bonkers, very bonkers. Um, but that also kind of goes into the element of, um, again, how I am and why I am the way that I am now. I was like a crazy kid, so I could expect high school students to be like that because I was one of them. So when it comes to art and me even having the experience of even being an art teacher, which was the best job I've ever fucking had, um, I finally felt like I was doing something that didn't feel like work, but I was actually getting paid for it for real. And I was like, man, I could educate people on art. I mean, it's really just creativity. At the end of the day, I can educate people on creativity, but it's really kind of just unlocking something that's within all of us. Um, but yeah, I just reflected on those moments as I was being a teacher to understand like how students could be like it might be something most of the time it's always something deeper than the surface. It's like if you talk to them enough, you'll realize like, hey, what's your life like outside of these walls? You find out some kids are like taking care of their other kids because their parents is at work. You have some other kids that's like um, don't have no parents. You have some kids like in foster homes or these homes is like jail, but it's not. I mean, it's weird. A lot of different instances, but um, again, at the end of the day, just having that understanding and relation made me off top a better art teacher. Now, as far as me being an artist, I just been drawing all my life, and it wasn't until, of course, I met my wife when I started painting, and that was like 2017. And now we got art in like museums. Um, Angela Davis is a collector of our art. Felicia Rashad is a collector of art. The mayor of Houston, Sylvester Turner, is a collector. We've gotten our art in places where people still look to figure out like how do we do what you do, and sometimes we don't even know what we be doing, but we know how it happened, and I can tell you how everything happened. Might not work the same for you, but hey, if it's something that you took into a kid, like you know what, I never thought of doing that. Let me try that. That's what I can teach. You know what I'm saying? I teach the experience. I teach what I know, what I've done, and the outcome of it. And if you learn something from it, perfect, because that's how it's supposed to go. If you didn't, I'm sorry, I can't help you. Apparently, at that point, but keep it to in my life. If you feel free to, you might learn something else because I'm always learning, and I don't feel like it's a day where I don't teach anybody nothing new. I mean, that I teach. I feel like I teach somebody new every day something, whether just the smallest things or biggest things. I just feel like I educate other people in my own way. Um, but yeah, I've been an artist for about 5 years as far as painting wise. Um, but being an artist also gets you into places that um, it's kind of like being a cameraman. It gets you in places that you might not have ever gotten into. You know what I mean? Gets you opportunities you might not have felt like you've ever gotten if you weren't an artist. Or I don't know, who knows? And I have enough work made where it's kind of like those beats and albums of instrumentals. I got enough art built to the side where um, I can stop everything I do and have like creative projects where I match my art with beats, make a whole thing of that. But that's not my purpose right now. But it's something that I can utilize, even if somebody else comes down the line, be like, hey, you know what? We need some beats for this type of project, or if I want to enter in like my catalog of music into like the gaming industry for them to use in video games or commercials, films, whatever. I have that outlet to do that with the things that's already done. Like people look to figure out like the value of what you'll become, but most of the time people aren't realizing the value of the things that you've already did. And unless it's benefiting them. But if it's not, it's to their shadow. And if you're not paying attention to it, they're not paying attention to it. It's just knowledge out there that's not being recognized. But the more you stay in tune with who you are, what you've done, what you can do, what you will do, you'll know there is a path in your life for you to travel. You're not just stuck and stationary, like nothing's happening, or you don't need to be doing nothing. Like it's always something that of value that you've done, something of value that you're doing, and then something of value that you will do. Past, present, and future is in everything. I believe that shit so wholeheartedly. I believe that shit. So yeah, man, that's really like the art and design side of me. Um, I'm not an architect now. Again, I transformed from like a architect drawing houses and shit to like painting portraits or scenes, ideas, dreams, different things. Um, but my architecture skill is still built inside me. So just because I'm not involved in it and different things like that doesn't mean that I wasted an opportunity or wasted money learning something new. Like currently, I'm doing cable and pipe. You have to read floor plans for that, and I'm doing that for a prison. So you really have to know what the fuck you're doing. Like, yo, we're reading floor plans and looking to see where we're installing all of these different things for make something work. A lot different from residential, of course, but again, I've learned a lot within the commercial side, within architecture, the degree program, to understand at least what I'm working with, like conduit and wire, fire cables, and J hooks, and all of that different things, certain tools, all of that. What seemed like uh, unimportant information that I was learning because I was kind of getting tired of that degree plan ended up being information that I needed to know for future endeavors that I didn't even feel like I would even experience in the first place. But I'm here now and I have the knowledge that I do have, and I'm able to utilize it in ways where it's fitting for me to keep moving, even if I'm pivoting through life from one opportunity to another, to another, to another, whatever gets me to accomplishment, 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 and accomplishment to get me to that success point of connection. That's the path that I'm going with. You know what I mean? Everybody's path is different. It's like a fucking fingerprint, DNA. So no one person's the same. So if you feel like you're behind in something and you feel like other people around you are succeeding, or they don't even succeed, but you're struggling, or where you feel like you're not where you're at, where you need to be, dog, bro, slow down. I gotta remember that shit sometimes. Slow down. What's meant for you will be meant for you. If you keep striving for it, eventually you'll have that or some form of it. But that's my belief. You know what I mean? For number 4, we have crypto and investing. Now, this topic here, phew, when it comes to investing in crypto, I'm gonna admit I don't know everything, but I feel like a lot of people will not even admit something that simple. Like, I'm not a fucking crypto specialist, but I've created my own crypto coin. I'm not a crypto expert, but I'm working with a university to develop a wallet app with students and staff. Now, how did I get here? Honestly, the best answer I can say is God. Um, because when I came back from Alaska, luckily, you know what I mean, I came back and I was like, all right, I get to see my family again. Awesome, perfect. I have this I have this amount of money saved. Perfect. But I still have these college loans. Fuck. I don't want to pay that shit. I don't feel like I should, but I know that I have to in some kind of form or fashion, right? Um, But luckily now they got Joe Biden, canceling at least $20,000 of my debt here. Trying about now I only owe you 90,000. You know what I mean? But um, yeah, I'm not a fucking expert, but I've been able to do and be in rooms with other experts because that's how I'm learning. And I feel like a lot of people are like, for one, not knowledgeable of what's going on with finances, like money changing, cash, credit, Bitcoin, crypto, period. Um, some people don't care, some people do. But for those who do care, don't know everything, which is fine because everybody's still in the learning mode. This is really like 10, 12 years in the game, deep into like um, Bitcoin having a presence. But it's 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 a continuous factor of learning when it comes to crypto, for it at least. Um, but I got into it because I love the element of what can come out of it. Because being black, we have a lot of value that is like tapped in ways where we don't benefit from it, but it's also untapped in ways that we can benefit from it. And with crypto, Web3 and development of having actually more ownership with digital products, services, being assets that you can actually benefit from, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? Because again, right now, I'm 35. I probably been using the internet for since probably I was at least 13. So what's that? 22 years. 22 years of the internet. Uh, 22 years of my information out there, from me being 13 to me being 35. Me, my whole fucking dick out there. Not literally, but let's think of pussy because it's better, like, reference. You know what I mean? But yeah, just been having my pussy out there on the internet just for everybody to see, right? But at the same time, it's just a picture of the pussy. It's just my information. It's just the data. But here's the kicker: you don't know if it's mine. Think about it. Of all the emails that you've had, whether it be the real ones that you had or the side ones that you had to use to create fake accounts or stalking other people or get free access to fucking Netflix, you know what I mean, trial periods, who knows? Think of all these different emails, all of these different addresses, all these numbers that you've had, all of these websites that you visited from in that 22-year time frame, plus or minus. Think about all the information that you've shared. Think about all the times that you've entered your information into different websites um, that ask for it, just on some simple shit like, hey, you know what I mean, we'll send you X, Y, and Z to your email. Enter your information. We've been entering so much data within these time frames, especially now, within, not even now, through the past 10, 15 years, clicking like I agree to the terms and conditions for so many different sites. We've been agreeing to some bullshit. We've been throwing our pussy out there. And that pussy been fucking pussying. It's been paying off like, yo, other people's bills except your fucking own. And that's where I'm at with it with crypto. If I have all this shit connected to my name, and it might be valid, it might not be valid, I need to be able to create a system to say, you know what, this validates me, and no other system can validate me other than this. That's what I created with that crypto token. I was like, you know what? Fuck all the information that's out there. I don't care, because if I don't say it's me, it ain't me. I don't care what email you have connected to my name. I don't care whatever. If it ain't me, it ain't mine. Point blank. I verify what's verified with me. I'll tell you, hey, hell yeah, that's my wife. Hell yeah, that's my kids. Hell yeah, that's my mama. Yeah, that's my daddy. Yeah, that's where I went to school. I got the pictures here. Verify that. I can give you information all day, but now I have the option to not only control if I give it to you or not, but now I have the option to get paid from it. And not only get paid from it one time, I have the option to get paid from it residually or um, through royalties. You know what I'm saying? Like all these different aspects that you can code and program your shit to work like that. That's what crypto is. You know what I'm saying? And the whole metaverse that people talk about, it's like the land of where you can do all of that shit and so much more digitally. What can we do? We're finding out in real time right now. Just like I said, with energy shifting from gas to electric, from later down the line might be electric to wind power. I don't know. Who knows? Oxygen might be the shit later down the line. But things are just changing, and I'm doing my best to get myself into the position creatively, innovatively, entrepreneurially into the doors where I feel like I need to be, and in the things that are changing, whether it's money, art, um, audio, visual things, books, games, whatever. Like I'm there for it. Also, when it comes to investing, though, since I remember, I've been investing. I've been studying investing. Uh, Definitely over 10 years. Definitely over 10 years. I would look at like stock charts, not charts, but I would look at stock prices, and I would write them shits down in like a notebook like this, and I would write the date down, and I would say, okay, this is the price at this day, and maybe like years later, I might look and see like, okay, I found this shit in my notebook again. Let me see what the price is today, and I might see that shit go up like exponentially, and I'll be like, damn, um, what the fuck? Like, what is that company again? But as far as like investing wise, I'll tell you. I mean, I'll tell you what I do. I guess I gotta say what I do is the right thing, but what I do is learn from other people who are actually doing it while I'm doing it, though. Not just learning and then not doing it, but I'm learning from people who do investing, what they do, then I do what they do my way. I might win some, I might lose some, but I do what's fitting for me. But I find the foundation to be most helpful to know, hey, that person knows what to do. That person might not know how to do it like me. That person might not know what to invest in that I know what, so they could probably tell me something on real estate, but how they're involved in that market, I might take that shit to the stocks. I might take that shit to real estate myself. Who knows? But it's so many different like tricks of the trade for different people. But honestly, what I like to do, um, I I pay attention to businesses that I fuck with off top. Like if I like a certain brand, I'm gonna invest in that brand because I know I'm consuming that product. So if I'm consuming that product and they going out of business, they staying in the business some kind of way because of me. So I might as well make some kind of investment because I'm helping them one way or another. Um, Perfect example for a person who collects a lot of shoes, Nike shoes. You might actually enjoy investing in Nike. I mean, getting your returns by putting money that you probably would have spent on some shoes into a stock or two or three or whatever. However, like Nike's not a lot. of dollars. I think it might be. I know for sure under $200, but I know most of the pairs that people be buying be like 200 and up. So it's like get a stock that goes up by itself, or you get a pair of shoes that devalues over time, unless it's like one of those rare kind of shoes. But that's a whole nother story. But invest in what you fuck with. For one, I think I'll give you good three tips with investing before I go. Invest in what you fuck with. Two, invest in what the people with the most money invest in, because the people who with the most money over time has had the most money for a reason. So it's like, okay, what are they investing in? I need to start investing into that. Two, three, invest in solutions. Invest in solutions. Think about it like this: the election is coming up. Most people are like, when they run up for elections, they're trying to solve a problem. At the time they're solving a problem, these candidates are presently on TV. It's like they are commercial time. Like, you know how much people pay to be on a commercial for Super Bowl. So imagine any kind of relation with presidential campaigns, different kind of campaigns, local campaigns, all of that. There's money behind it, surface level and behind the scenes. Behind the scenes is most likely ducked off by the laws and shit like that. And you already know like how the fucking government moves, how the world moves. There's a lot of laws and there's a lot of money that people don't be knowing about until later down the line, when they either need to know or should have known. But these people are coming up with solutions for different problems. They're gonna be solving some kind of problem. So you figure out, not just politicians, but figure out what the mass amount of people are trying to do and invest in the solution for that. Invest in a solution. If most of the people is rummaging through these fucking stores trying to take toilet paper and shit, they either trying to hoard it or they really need to fucking wipe their ass and the natural disasters and things like that. If that's what's being bought the most, why not invest in P&G? They're the top manufacturers when it comes to like toilet paper, tissue paper, paper towels, household cleaning products. If people need to be cleaning some shit because some shit didn't happen, i.e., natural disasters, for example, Home Depot is gonna be selling wood like crazy, or selling different kind of products and manufactured to help restore these areas. Like, so I know when it comes to hurricane season, Home Depot and Lowe's around that time, stocks is easy money every time. Um, but these are the types of things I notice how things move. Like, one of the things that I like to kind of go back and reference as far as like what Nelly's effect, Nelly and the Saint Lunatics effect of Air Force Ones on Nike. You couldn't tell me that they stock didn't go up because of that song. You couldn't tell me that culture did not shift, that business, that shoe for one. Like, I'm gonna talk as far as culture and investing a whole nother day. But I understand how markets move, um, with money wise, with circumstances wise, and also culturally. Like, all of that, I pay attention to it. So just pay attention to what's happening around you. If you see up in different local places other than Walmart, because you know those Walmart signs probably already everywhere where it says we don't accept cash, only credit, la la la. If you start seeing those signs in more places that you probably wouldn't see those signs, it would probably behoove you to really recognize those changes and formulate some kind of idea of like, hey, cash is disappearing, but I'm still spending money. How am I spending money? Credit wise or debit card? What kind of money is that? Same thing, but it's only digitally. Hey, I heard something about digital money. They said it's about cryptocurrency. Duh. That's where you would actually probably be more in tune to be like, you know what, maybe I should probably get into that whole digital space when it comes to finances. Because that's what got me into it. I was like, yo, things are changing. I need to be in the midst of these changes. I need to have some money in the changes. Um, so that way I can take care of my family the way I need to and have that automated, like as far as making money. Like nobody wants to fucking work forever. That's what people really don't really focus on. Like nobody wants to work for money forever. I don't feel like we should. And the best way that we can get money and automate that product process to not only do that but keep doing that in ways that we don't ever have to work again, that should be everybody's goal. I know that's my goal. I'm not even gonna make that everybody's goal, but that's my goal. It's to automate my life to where my money can work for me, but I can still do the creative things that I feel like I need to do to accomplish X, Y, and Z, and to also understand uh, D, E, and F. I don't know, but it's just that's me in a nutshell, right? That's me in a nutshell. So this is episode one of what did I say? The Innovator's Notebook. I kind of like that title. I think I'm gonna stick with it. So, yeah, this was the Innovator's Notebook Part Two, which should actually be the end of the whole damn thing. But thank y'all for watching. I'm gonna flip this page and do another episode another day. But again, thank y'all for taking the time to listen. Hopefully, I'll see y'all soon, and we out.